10 ways to outsmart any woman playing games with your heart. Modern Stoic. The greatest victory is the victory over oneself. Plato. You've likely been there, the whirlwind of mixed signals, the frustrating hot and cold behavior, and the subtle emotional manipulation masked as honesty. You sense something's not right, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Here's what you need to understand. There's a reason this feels like a game. Women, too, sometimes play the field with strategies designed to confuse, keep you chasing, and tie your emotions up in knots. After all, every player has a playbook, tactics to keep you hooked, questioning your worth, and vying for their attention. But once you understand the rules of the game, the power shifts. In this guide, I'm about to uncover every strategy, every move. I'll show you exactly how to respond, how to maintain control, and most importantly, how to protect your heart and mind from manipulation. The moment you stop playing by her rules, the game is over. And from there, you're free. Keep in mind, as a Stoic, your power comes from within. By staying grounded, knowing yourself, and choosing your responses wisely, you hold the key to maintaining your peace of mind no matter the emotional chaos around you. Way number 1. Don't react to her mood swings. Men, listen up when she's throwing an emotional tantrum. Your gut reaction might be to swoop in, fix everything, calm her down, or ask, "What's wrong?" Don't fall into that trap. That's exactly what she's counting on. She's seeking a reaction, a little chaos to feed her emotion. Instead, take a breath, stay grounded, and give her nothing but calm. Let me break this down. The wrong response is to ask, "What's wrong? How can I help? Please talk to me." This just gives her the control she wants, and you're drawn into a cycle of emotional highs and lows that you'll never win. The right response: step back, acknowledge the tension without feeding into it. "I can see you're upset. Let me know when you're ready to talk calmly," and then walk away. That's it. Be cool and keep your distance, emotionally and physically. Now, why does this work? Neurobiology. When you refuse to react to her mood swings, you're breaking the cycle of intermittent reinforcement that keeps her addicted to the emotional roller coaster. Every time you engage with her drama, you're giving her a dopamine hit, the pleasure of seeing you scrambled and reacting. You're giving her control over your emotional state, and that power feels intoxicating to her. I'm speaking from experience here. I used to create dramatic scenes just to watch men scramble, desperate to comfort me, to fix things. It was a rush of power. But let me tell you something. When a man stayed completely calm and refused to engage with my emotional chaos, it left me feeling empty, exposed, and foolish. Suddenly, I wasn't in control anymore. That is the blessing of Stoicism. The old Stoic way was all about self-control and emotional distance, and it still works. When you embrace this mindset, you let her emotional outburst roll off your back like water on a duck. You don't need to engage, fix, or entertain her emotional outbursts. You stay calm, you stay solid, and most importantly, you stay in control. Here's the deal. Men, be like the modern Stoic. Embrace the idea that you control your emotions, not her. The ancient Stoics understood that no one can disrupt your peace unless you allow them to. Emotional chaos is nothing but a distraction. When you refuse to let her dictate your emotional state, you're protecting yourself and keeping your integrity intact. That's the blessing of Stoicism in action. It's not about suppressing your emotions or being cold, but about not allowing anyone to manipulate your mood. Life becomes so much easier when you don't let emotional chaos control you. Stay calm. Stay firm. And remember, true strength is in mastering your own reactions. You must hold your ground, not just for yourself, but to avoid falling into the trap of emotional dependency. If you want peace and clarity in your relationships, you need to take control of your emotional state first. Be calm in the storm, and you'll outsmart her games every single time. Way number 2, use the broken record technique. You've probably been in a situation where the conversation takes a turn, and suddenly, you find yourself being manipulated, guilt-tripped, pressured, or enticed to change your boundaries. One minute you're firm in your decisions, and the next, you're bending under the weight of someone else's emotions. This is exactly what can happen when you don't have a clear and steadfast approach. But let's be real, don't fall for it. Here's a simple yet powerful technique that'll save your sanity and your boundaries. The broken record technique. Here's how it works. But I really need you to cancel your plans. Don't you care about me? I understand you're upset, but I'm not changing my plans. Sounds straightforward, right? Simple. But it's more than just repeating a phrase. It's a Stoic way of responding to emotional manipulation. Don't be swayed by the emotional pressure. Remain firm. You are the architect of your own life, not the hostage of her emotional whims. This response doesn't need to change. Repeat it over and over if necessary. When faced with this kind of guilt trip or manipulation, stick to your guns. It may sound cold, but that's not the point. Stoicism teaches us not to be swayed by external forces that are beyond our control. A woman's emotions, her needs, or her guilt trips, those are beyond your control. Your boundaries. They are yours to protect. You must stay grounded, just like a Stoic sage. That is how you take back your power. Psychological research backs this up. When you repeat the same response, "I'm not changing my plans," you remove the variable reward she's hoping for. Most people argue because they know, deep down, that if they persist long enough, they'll break their counterpart down. We all know that one person who always eventually gives in, but not you. You, my friend, will stand strong. When you turn into that broken record, the manipulation tactics lose their power. Think about it like this. A manipulative tactic is like a dog begging for a treat. The dog keeps barking, hoping for a response. But what happens if you ignore the bark eventually? The dog gives up. Don't give her the reward of bending your will. Be the unshakable one, like the Stoic philosophers. Stand firm in your principles. No manipulation, no pressure, no games. And here's the beauty of it. You're not doing this because you want to win or get back at her. You're doing it because you respect yourself. You're practicing Stoic lessons that will strengthen you and lead you to a life of personal freedom. Every time you use the broken record technique, you affirm that your needs, your time, and your emotions are just as important as hers. Now, let's be clear. It's easy to fall into the trap of becoming emotionally invested in these arguments, but don't do it. Stay detached. Stoicism teaches us that emotions are fleeting. Don't let them dictate your actions. Stick to your boundary like a solid wall. It's not a game of who wins. It's about respecting yourself and holding your ground. So next time she tries to guilt trip you or push you to change your plans, just repeat your mantra, "I'm not changing my plans." Don't flinch. Be resolute. Eventually, the manipulation will lose its charm. She'll realize that your resolve is stronger than her tactics. And when that happens, you'll not only protect your boundaries but gain her respect in the process. The broken record technique isn't just a clever way to deal with manipulative behavior. It's a life philosophy rooted in Stoicism and emotional mastery. By staying firm, you not only avoid falling into the trap of manipulation but also reinforce your own sense of self-worth and strength. Stoic life isn't about being indifferent to others, but about not letting the emotions of others dictate your actions. Repeat your mantra, remain steadfast, and let nothing move you. You must be the steady one. If you're ready to take control and stop falling for manipulation, drop a comment right now. I am the man who stays firm. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remind yourself daily: master your boundaries, master your life. Way number 3, make your attention scarce. In today's world, men who master the art of selective attention rule the game. Scarcity elevates value. This principle isn't just a theoretical concept. Studies show that scarcity can increase perceived value by as much as 300%. And make no mistake, your attention is one of your most precious assets. Women, like anyone else, crave what they can't have in abundance. When your attention is constantly available, it's not truly valued. When it's scarce, it becomes a powerful currency. The wrong response is obvious when she sends a message like, "We need to talk at 11 p.m., and you panic, dialing her number immediately, dropping everything to be at her beck and call. The right response, the Stoic response, is calm and calculated. "I'm free tomorrow after 6 p.m. must come." Your attention is yours to manage, not to be dictated by someone else's emotional whims. When she calls you upset, and you immediately drop everything to comfort her, you're losing the leverage you should maintain. The right move is, "I'm in the middle of something. Let's talk later when you've calmed down." You have a life, and you have priorities, but let that be known. Remember, the scarcity triggers something deep in the human mind: loss aversion. When you withhold your attention, you force her to focus on you rather than her own emotional turmoil. This is not manipulation, it's a strategy for preserving your value and your peace of mind. The Stoic principles, like those taught by Marcus Aurelius, remind us that we control only our responses. Everything else is external, including how others choose to react. Women will always test your boundaries, and that's where you must stand firm. A Stoic man knows when to show up and when to remain emotionally detached, focused on his path and not distracted by external noise. Let her play her games, you'll simply observe and choose how to respond. Never reacting impulsively, but with calculated restraint. You must never give in to the urgency of the moment, especially when it's designed to manipulate your emotions. A true Stoic understands that his attention is earned, not freely given. Your time and focus are assets you protect fiercely. Embrace the power of scarcity, and watch as your value rises in the eyes of those around you. Understand this: what is abundant is often overlooked. You must make your attention scarce, and in doing so, you regain control of your life. The more you understand this, the more you'll master your interactions. No matter how intense or chaotic, keep your emotions in check. Stay focused on your mission, and let others chase after what they cannot easily attain. Way number 4, never explain your absence. When she asks why you didn't reply or where you were, don't feel the urge to go into unnecessary detail. Don't fall into the trap of over-explaining, especially when it comes to things that don't need to be explained. That is where many men get it wrong. Imagine this, she asks. "Where were you? Why didn't you answer me?" The wrong response sounds like this: "Sorry, I didn't text back. I was at the gym. Then I had to stop by my mom's house. And after that, I grabbed dinner with my friend Jake and we talked about." The moment you start rattling off a long list of excuses, you've already lost control. Instead, the right response is simple and to the point: "I was handling some things." "How was your day?" That's it. No more, no less. The truth is, modern Stoic men understand that mystery is an incredibly powerful tool in relationships. It's not about being cold or distant, it's about maintaining your sense of autonomy and keeping your boundaries intact. When you provide too many details, you open the door to unnecessary questioning and, frankly, you make her the center of your world. Women, by nature, tend to crave the answers to the puzzles in their lives. And when you make yourself an open book, you're only fueling that need for more answers. By offering little to no explanation, you create a gap, a space of mystery that she can't quite crack. This is not manipulation, it's merely a reflection of the blessing of Stoicism, where the Stoic man knows that he doesn't need to explain everything, especially when it doesn't serve him. You must understand this uncertainty creates a kind of obsession. The mind, both hers and yours, thrives on certainty. But too much certainty leads to complacency. In contrast, uncertainty leads to curiosity, and curiosity leads to a constant desire for more. When you leave her wondering, she begins to think about you more. It's like a psychological game of cat and mouse, but with no real losers. The longer she's in the dark about your whereabouts, the more she'll be left to her thoughts, spinning her own version of what you might be doing. It's human nature. Be a man who understands that the absence of unnecessary information keeps her intrigued and on her toes. Don't think for a second that this is a cheap tactic. Modern Stoic men have always known the power of being elusive, not because they're hiding something, but because they understand the value of controlling their own narrative. The old Stoic philosophers lived their lives with mystery surrounding their personal choices. It wasn't about playing games for the sake of it, but rather about keeping their energy and their focus intact. They knew that they could be in control of their emotions and reactions. So when you don't feel compelled to justify yourself with long-winded answers, you show emotional maturity and self-sufficiency. You don't need her approval or validation. You know your worth. The next time she asks why you didn't respond or where you were, take a deep breath and give her nothing but a calm, concise reply. Be that mysterious figure who's always just a little bit out of reach. That is how you keep your power intact and continue to live in a world where you are your own man, master of your time, your space, and your energy. The more you embody the blessing of Stoicism, the more you'll see her start to respect your boundaries and perhaps even become more attracted to the mystery that surrounds you. If you found this tip valuable, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more modern wisdom. Comment to remember mystery is a powerful tool, never over-explain. Way number 5, agree and amplify. Men, listen up. You know that feeling when someone tries to shame you, poke at your ego, or lay guilt on you? Whether it's from a partner, a friend, or anyone really, it can hit hard. But what if I told you that the best way to disarm this kind of manipulation isn't to defend yourself, but to lean into it? Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, this is one of the most powerful tools you can wield. It's called Agree and Amplify, and it's a game changer. Here's how it works. Let's say she tries to shame you for something you did. Maybe it's going out with your friends or buying that new gadget you've been eyeing. The natural instinct is to defend yourself when you want to argue. I'm not selfish, I barely even see my friends. You're being unreasonable, wrong. This is where you're giving away your power. Instead, you do something unexpected. You agree with her. But don't just agree, amplify it and go all in. So if she says, "You're so selfish for going out with your friends," here's your golden moment. You turn the tables by replying, "You're absolutely right. I'm probably the most selfish person you'll ever meet. I should warn you about that. Now, let that sink in. By agreeing and amplifying, you've stripped her of any weapon she might have had to use against you. Why does this work? It's all about psychology. Manipulators thrive on your emotional response. They want to get under your skin, get you defensive, so they can twist the knife even deeper. The key here is that you must refuse to engage in that emotional tug-of-war. When you own the criticism, when you laugh in the face of shame, you take all its power away. You're no longer a target, and suddenly, she is the one left with nowhere to go. This technique taps into the concept of Stoicism. Stoic lessons teach us that the opinions of others are just that, opinions. They have no power over us unless we give it to them. Your response is where your power lies. You control the narrative. Instead of playing into someone's emotional game, you rewrite the rules entirely. In a Stoic life, the focus isn't on defending your actions or justifying yourself. You act with integrity, knowing that your choices are yours alone, and no one has the right to make you feel inferior for them. It's a reminder to remain calm and indifferent to external judgment, knowing that the only opinion that truly matters is your own. Here's another critical element. By agreeing and amplifying, you stop yourself from falling into the trap of justification. When you justify your actions, you're essentially admitting that your behavior needs validation from the other person. That's a position of weakness. Instead, by amplifying the accusation, you turn the focus back on her and expose how ridiculous the situation really is. This technique is not about being passive or submissive. It's about mastering your emotions. It's about refusing to let anyone control your emotional state. Be stoic. Don't get caught up in the drama. Don't play the game. You must respond with humor, with lightness, and with full ownership. You'll find that when you refuse to give others the emotional reaction they crave, they often lose interest in playing their little game. And here's a simple rule to live by when you stop defending yourself. You stop losing. You must always remember that in these emotional power struggles, the only way you can win is by choosing not to engage. This is how you become a master of your own emotions. You take a step back and realize that shame and guilt are tools. Tools that only work if you let them. And you must refuse to let them work. So, next time someone tries to shame you, instead of getting defensive, remember, agree and amplify, own it, laugh it off, and watch how much power you regain in that situation. It's not just a technique, it's a Stoic mindset, a Stoic approach to dealing with the world. You control your own emotions, and no one else can dictate your worth. In the end, that's what this is all about. It's about being true to yourself and living a life on your terms. Don't give anyone the power to make you feel small. Be confident in who you are, and let no one's words shake that confidence. In a Stoic life, the external world holds no sway over your internal peace. The next time someone tries to manipulate your heart or mind, you'll have the perfect response: agree and amplify. Way number 6, beat her. In the game of relationships, you must be strategic. And to outsmart any woman who plays games with your heart, you need to operate from a place of power, decisiveness, and control. Embrace the wisdom of Stoic principles. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is your foundation. The next step in outsmarting the game is beating her to the punch. Preempt her emotional moves by anticipating her reactions and calling them out before she can use them against you. For example, before going out with friends, you state, "I know you're probably going to be upset about me going out tonight, but I'm still going." Before making a decision that may not be popular, assert confidently, "I realize this might trigger some drama, But that's not going to change my decision. If you're setting a boundary, take control by saying, "You're probably going to give me the silent treatment after I say this, but I need you to stop calling me during work hours." This tactic is not just a clever maneuver. It's an emotional shield. By acknowledging her potential reactions in advance, you strip them of their power. You show her that you see her patterns, and more importantly, you're not afraid of them. You're not afraid of her emotional responses. This is mastery. This is emotional intelligence at its peak. Do not wait for her to manipulate the situation. Take control of the narrative. You must understand that a man who follows Stoic principles is unshakable, impervious to the emotional tactics others might use to throw him off balance. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "This mindset is your greatest asset. You will no longer be a victim of emotional hijacking. You are always ahead of the game. Master your emotions, control the narrative, and create a life that is not dictated by her moods. Become the Stoic man who is in control of his destiny." Remember, boundaries are not negotiable. You must enforce them without hesitation or apology. The minute you show weakness or hesitation, you surrender your power. So take action, speak your mind, set your boundaries. Do not allow her to manipulate you. Remember that you are playing a game of emotional chess, and in this game, you must always think 2 moves ahead. That is the mark of a true Stoic. Way number 7, I'll call out the game directly. Don't play the fool. When you see the manipulation in front of you, don't just sit there and pretend you're oblivious. Be sharp. Call it out. And don't let her twist your emotions. If she's playing the jealousy game, be blunt about it. For example, when she says, "My ex texted me today. He wants to get coffee to catch up," you should respond like a modern Stoic. "It sounds like you're trying to make me jealous. I don't play those games." That is the truth, plain and simple. Don't let her push your buttons. If she withdraws after showing interest, like suddenly going cold and ignoring your texts, don't chase her. Just say, "I noticed you've gone distant. If you're testing me to see if I'll chase, that's not going to happen." You must stand firm. The old Stoic knew that chasing after someone who's playing these emotional games only leads to frustration. When she tries to manipulate you with guilt, like saying, "After everything I've done for you, you can't even cancel your plans." Don't back down. Call it what it is. Emotional manipulation. Respond with, "This feels like emotional manipulation. We can talk when you're ready to communicate directly." Simple, direct, and unwavering. Many men shy away from calling out these games because they fear upsetting the balance of the relationship or rocking the boat. But let me tell you, ignoring it doesn't make it go away. In fact, it lets her keep playing those games, and the more you let her get away with it, the more she'll try. The real blessing of Stoicism is that it teaches you not to be controlled by emotions or external circumstances. The moment you acknowledge manipulation for what it is, you disarm it. Women are experts at hiding their games, but they can't keep the mask on once you shine a light on it. They rely on your silence and confusion. When you call out the game, it forces them to face their actions. You stop being the pawn in their emotional chess match. I'll never forget the first time a man called out my jealousy game directly. I tried to make him jealous by mentioning another guy, and he just looked at me and said, "That's an interesting tactic. Are you trying to make me jealous?" At that moment, I felt exposed. I was embarrassed. And from that point on, I never tried it again with him. That's the power of calling it out. It takes the wind out of their sails. If you master this, You won't be caught up in the same games that trip up so many others. It's time to stop pretending you don't see the games. Be the modern Stoic, stand tall, and never let emotional manipulation take control of your heart. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comment section. That is a huge motivation for us. I thank you. Way number 8, the ultimate power move, walk away. This is the nuclear option that every game-playing woman fears most. When her behavior crosses the line into manipulation, don't waste your time fighting it. Don't engage in a pointless argument. Don't give her the satisfaction of seeing you get caught up in her mind games. Instead, do something that will completely throw her off. Walk away. That's right. Leave. No drama, no explanations, no second chances. You simply step back. Remove yourself from the equation and give both of you some space. And this isn't a power play, it's an essential Stoic lesson. Stoicism teaches us that peace of mind isn't found in the chaos of emotional warfare. It's found in detachment, in taking control of your own reactions. By walking away, you take the power back. When you make the decision to walk away, it has a devastating effect because it disrupts the entire dynamic. See, the game-playing woman thrives on keeping you engaged. She thrives on making you question, chase, or beg for her attention. But once you remove yourself from the situation, that's a move she can't control. There's no manipulation of absence. The Stoic life teaches us that true power is in not letting others dictate your emotional state. When you walk away, you strip her of that control. In the blink of an eye, her entire strategy unravels. I've seen the strongest, most confident women completely panic when a man does this. I had a friend who was utterly blindsided when her boyfriend walked away from their relationship instead of falling into her manipulative trap. She called me in tears, desperate and confused. He just left. I don't know what to do. Suddenly, all our psychological tactics became useless, and imagine the shock. All of her tricks, all of her games had no effect on him. He didn't need to argue, didn't need to beg for her attention, didn't need to prove his worth, and he simply walked away. And in doing so, completely shifted the balance of power. When you walk away, you remove yourself from the game altogether. You show her that you're not playing by her rules, and you won't let yourself be manipulated. This is a crucial Stoic lesson. Emotional detachment is key to living a peaceful, strong life. It's about mastering your own mind and emotions rather than letting others manipulate you into emotional chaos. But walking away isn't just about leaving a situation. It's about making a bold statement without saying a word. The power is in your absence. That silence echoes louder than any argument ever could. This is why the walk-away move is such a psychological weapon. It's so powerful because it forces the woman to confront her own actions, her own motives. It turns the game on its head, making her question everything she thought she knew about how relationships work. When you leave without playing into her manipulations, you teach her something she wasn't prepared for. You can't play games with someone who refuses to play. And by doing this, you've elevated yourself. The Stoic life isn't about reacting to everything around you. It's about being in control, steady and unwavering, no matter the external circumstances. You must realize that this is not just a reaction to her game. It's a profound act of self-respect, and it teaches a powerful lesson in emotional intelligence. Most men don't have the strength to simply walk away because they're too invested in the drama. But the Stoic approach teaches us that our energy is valuable. Don't waste it in battles you don't need to fight. Instead, use your energy to remain calm, composed, and above all, in control. That is the true power of walking away. And remember, while this may be the ultimate move, There are other psychological weapons you can use to make her rethink everything she thought she knew about men. These tools, rooted in Stoicism and emotional mastery, will serve you well in every aspect of your life. Way number 9, emotional detachment. You must master emotional detachment. This is the pinnacle of control, the most advanced technique in the art of protecting yourself from manipulative games. Stay present, but maintain your distance. Be polite, be kind, but never become emotionally invested. Show respect, but never let her see you vulnerable. Imagine interacting with a coworker. You are professional, cordial, but emotionally neutral. This level of mastery is what will make you untouchable, impervious to the emotional manipulation many women will try to use. You can care without allowing yourself to be compromised. When you achieve this, you are no longer a pawn in the game. Emotional detachment isn't about being cold or distant. It's about preserving your strength, your mental clarity. You don't lose yourself in the drama. You rise above it. You become unshakable. What many women don't understand is this: when you refuse to invest emotionally, they lose their power. Without emotional investment, they cannot manipulate you. They cannot control you. They cannot break you. Think of yourself as water, flowing freely, unable to be held by anyone. This is your inner strength, rooted in Stoic principles. Just as Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Emotional detachment is not about apathy. It's about wisdom. It's about knowing that your peace of mind is far more valuable than anything else, and that you have complete control over it. Modern life demands emotional control. The world around you is filled with distractions, chaos, and challenges designed to shake your resolve. But you must be steadfast. The key to winning any emotional game is to never let your emotions dictate your actions. When you remain calm and detached, you prevent anyone from using your feelings against you. The world will throw curveballs. People will test your boundaries, but nothing can break your focus. If you want to master your life, if you want to stop being manipulated by others, you must embrace Stoic thinking. You must refuse to be emotionally tethered to anything outside of your control. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Focus your thoughts, control your reactions, and refuse to engage in emotional warfare. In the end, those who play games with your heart will always lose when they cannot manipulate your mind. This is how you outsmart them, by becoming the master of your emotions. You must remain calm, unshakable, like a rock in a storm. You will weather any emotional hurricane without breaking. This is how you win. Detach yourself from the need for approval or validation. Do not seek her attention or approval. The moment you stop chasing, you stop being controlled. You become the one in control. The Stoic mindset teaches us this fundamental truth: external events, including the behavior of others, are beyond our control. What matters is how we respond. Let your response be calm, deliberate, and detached. Never let her games dictate your emotional state. You have power over your own thoughts, your own peace, your own response. In this mastery, you will find victory. You will no longer be a victim of emotional manipulation. Instead, you will lead your life with purpose, unshaken by external forces. This is the way of the Stoic. If you find this valuable, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember I am emotionally invincible. By practicing emotional detachment, you become unshakable, maintaining your composure and clarity. Stay emotionally neutral, like water, ungraspable and free from manipulation. Let this mantra remind you of your strength and emotional resilience. Way number 10. Become genuinely indifferent. This is the highest level of emotional mastery, a concept a modern Stoic truly understands. It's not about pretending not to care, it's about actually not caring. You become indifferent to whether she stays or goes. You enjoy her company when she's reasonable, but walk away when she's not. You don't need her validation, attention, or approval. You want respect, but you no longer depend on her for it. This genuine indifference is kryptonite to women who play games because their strategy relies on you caring more than they do. Once you stop caring, the power dynamic shifts. When you genuinely care less, her games lose their effectiveness. She's left with two choices. She either grows up and communicates honestly, or she exits your life, unable to get what she wants. Either way, you win. This isn't just a strategy, it's the blessing of Stoicism in action. By mastering this indifference, you are no longer affected by emotional manipulation. Don't let your happiness depend on anyone's behavior, especially someone playing games. Embrace emotional sovereignty. Be the man who remains unaffected, and watch as the power shifts in your favor. This is the essence of the old Stoic approach: inner peace and strength, no matter what. All right, that wraps up today's video on 10 ways to outsmart any woman playing games with your heart. Modern Stoic. I hope you found these insights valuable and that they help you navigate relationships with confidence and clarity. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with someone who might need it. And subscribe for more content like this. Your support helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. If you have any thoughts, feedback, or personal experiences you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks again for watching. And remember, stay sharp, stay true to yourself, and keep mastering your mindset. Until next time.